You're listening to The Endless Party with your hosts,
Megan Elijah Armstrong. Hi everyone. I hope that wherever you are and whatever time of day this is that you are listening in, that you are having a good day.
Yeah.
And I also hope that, I don't know, you're just having a good week, things are good. Seriously, I just do.
Yeah, that's nice of you, Meg. I'm sure they really appreciate that.
Okay, anyways, so moving into our topic today. Today's episode is all about patience, and in order, I think, for us to expound on this principle, I want to share two things that have been going on in our life, and it's not for pity, it just is for understanding. And I think, and the reason why I'm sharing it is because I think it will help you to understand like how I've developed patience and the circumstances which have led me to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But it has nothing to do with like a woe is me,
Yeah.
mentality at all. It's just like, this is what we're going through and this is how I've come to learn patience. So anyways, let's jump into it. So it's been how many months now?
What, 10?
I think it's been 10 months.
Yeah.
So, long story short, Elijah and I felt really good about a business endeavor, and the thing is, we still feel good about it. That's not what this episode is. Mm-hmm. And it's also not an episode calling out
anybody
or anything. It just is the situation. But long story short, for 10 months, we have believed in this business endeavor, not the Endless Party, but a different one. And it has not transpired yet. And it was supposed to, obviously, 10 months ago. And like I said, not bringing this up to call out anyone or anything. But it has been 10 months of waiting.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And it has been 10 months of, hoping and believing in this endeavor. And at the end of the day, it's been 10 months of waiting. And I think what's so interesting about this is I'm married to like the most patient man on earth, I think.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure
it's nice
I
of you
am.
to say, but I don't know about that.
Because he has just been through all of this. He's been, like I said, so patient. And I have had a lot of days where I have been so impatient. In fact, I even had a day this week, okay? This isn't something that I've like mastered. This is something I'm still working on, but I just wanted to kind of film this episode in the thick of this situation as like kind of a testament of the patience, that we've been, like just proof that we are trying to be patient and that we are in circumstances that have, made it as such that we need, like,
well,
we
for
have
example,
to have this
like, sorry
trait.
for interrupting,
that's okay.
but like, a lot of times when you hear podcasters or YouTube influencers or anybody for that matter, you just think they have all their crap together all the time. And that couldn't be farther from the truth, right? Like, this is to give you complete vulnerability to us, right? It opens us up to help you realize that we are just two people trying to live a better life. And we're just trying to share our experiences through this entire process, instead of giving you all of our golden wisdom when we've already made it. We're giving it to you while we're going through it and how we're working through it.
Yes.
And that's exactly what this whole purpose of this podcast is today, and really this entire show, right?
Yeah.
The reason it's called The Endless Party is because we got blessed with 2 twin girls, and like we're trying to navigate that while living our goals and dreams, while trying to accomplish everything that we can fathom, right?
Right.
And so that's what this is we're trying to explain to today, is just this understanding of, look, like, we are going through things that are hard for us as well. Just because you hear us on Apple Podcasts doesn't mean that we have it all together and that we never have to be patient. Like, everything's given to us, right?
No.
Patience is still a thing that each of us have to implement each and every day. And whether that's, in relationships or in school or in athletics or in business opportunities like the one that we're currently in, it has to be practiced.
Yes. And I think that's just something that I think I'm trying to show in this platform. It's just like that raw vulnerability where, you know, in terms of the world, maybe we haven't made it yet. Maybe we don't have all the money and, you know, all the success, the worldly success that deems you as successful. But it's like, I don't know. I think that's what makes our platform unique is that we're in the thick of it. And, you know.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody else who's doing platforms that are in the thick of it.
Seriously.
You know? Like, we admire it because we're going through it right now.
Right. Anyways, so long story short, for 10 months, I have been kind of forced to learn this virtue of patience. And because at the end of the day, I kind of had two options. I can be patient or I can lose my mind. And so
we actually read that story. I think we mentioned this in a previous podcast, but like this guy ended up getting his new car stolen.
Oh, yes.
And what happened was his wife like freaked out the next day, and he flat out told her, was like, well, you can be happy about our car stolen or you can be sad about our car being stolen. Either way, our car is stolen. Right. And then eventually he ended up like getting a new car finally, and then he crashed it right after.
And like, he was so mad.
He was so mad. And then his wife like approached him and was like, you can be happy that your car is totaled or you can be sad that your car is totaled. Either way, your car is totaled. And so that's really a principle that we're trying to implement in patience as well, as this understanding of it's like, look, this business hasn't closed. We still have the faith. We still have the belief. That's not the issue, right? Now we can be happy or we can be sad. Either way, the business still hasn't closed.
Right. But in order to be happy, we have to be patient.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to really implement. And I think all things considered, I think what I've learned about patience, and this is my golden nugget, is, you know, if someone told me that that I was going to have to be patient for the next like 5 years, you know, I feel like it might even be easier because I would know that there's an end. But what I've learned about patience is that you have to like block it off as a day-by-day effort. It's like you have to ask yourself, can I be patient today? Can I be patient for one more day? Can I put myself in, like, compartmentalize today and be patient today? And normally the answer is always yes.
Well, I think, like, what's kind of cool is that principle, we actually mentioned this yesterday. We were talking to it with each other, is this understanding of the live each day in a day-tight compartment. I've heard that from so many like gurus.
Yeah, all the successful
people, right? Like Og Mandino says tomorrow only exists on a fool's calendar.
Right.
And he talks about how like never again should you let yourselves be dictated by the pains of yesterday and the fears of tomorrow. Like live each day in today. And even to go a step further than that, that's like all 12 steps to addiction recovery include. And it's live each day. Like, can you abstain from your addiction today? Can you do it today? And really, that's the same concept with patience. And you can apply it in everything in your life. Can you be humble today? Can you be, you know?
Yeah, that's for every attribute.
Yeah, but it's cool because me and Meg have been able to see this firsthand and be able to implement it today. It's like, I can be patient one more day.
I can.
Yeah. And so, like, one, that's what we would encourage each of you to do. Like, ask yourself, can you be patient today?
Right. Can you be patient with that boss, with that person that's
with
driving
that
you nuts?
With, like, you know, with whatever it is.
Just today.
Yeah.
Just today. Can you do it today?
Yeah.
Ask yourself that. Or can you be patient with your business opportunity? Or can you be patient and put in the work of growing a business, growing a platform today? Can you do it?
Right. Like, patience also, I think it has this negative connotation behind it to think that you have to endure through something, right? That you just have to, like, grit your teeth and bear it. Like, just put up with the annoyance or put up with the problems and, like, the toxicity of whatever you're dealing with. And that's not what we're talking about at all. And I just want to make that very clear, right? Like, if there's something in your life that is bad,
get it out.
Don't just put up with it, right? Like, this is a prime example. Like, we talked about this on a previous podcast. We have mice in our freaking ceiling right now. Right?
We're not patient with
I'm
them.
not just going to sit by and let them be scratching at 1:30 a.m. and be like, I just need to be patient. No, because that's foolish, right? Like, that's just so dumb. And so the whole point behind patience is that you should be pleasantly waiting for something that is going to be positive, right?
Yes.
If you're patient with your child, it's going to pay dividends in the future.
Yes.
If you're patient with yourself and do the day by day to work on a business that you are pursuing, it's going to pay dividends in the future, right? And that's what we're looking at with this opportunity, is the understanding that us being patient for these 10 months or however long we have to be are so worth it, because this business is going to be worth it and it will pay dividends in the future. And so that's what we're trying to get at in this understanding of patience. Don't put up with toxicity, right? Patiently wait in a happy way for something better.
Yes, and I also want to explain too, it doesn't mean it's easy.
No,
right?
No,
it doesn't
absolutely
mean
not.
Just because you're being pleasant and you're
just because
striving
it's
to do it.
Simple doesn't mean it's
easy. No, it's not easy. It still is something that is worked at, and it's like a daily endeavor. And so I was reading also, this is something interesting about patience I learned. This was in 7 Habits, I believe, of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey, the book I talk about all the time. Anyways, so in this, he explains that Covey had a really great friend, and he was huge into fitness and working out the physical body. And this friend explained that when you want to work a muscle and make it stronger, you go to the point of that breaking point. You don't go to the point where you can't do anymore, but you go just to the point.
Don't go to injury.
Don't go to injury, but you go to the point where there's the break, there's the strain, where
push
it's
the
like,
envelope. There's a lot of different terms for it.
Sure, but it's like, I can't do one more repetition.
Yep.
I'm right there. And so, but Covey explains that patience, like working on the attribute of patience or working on any, principle in your life is similar to that, where, if you want to be more patient, well, you have to practice patience, and it's a practice. You have to sit there and be patient just to the breaking point, and then you can rebuild and grow stronger, just like a muscle will then rebuild and grow stronger after it's at its breaking point. You can build up these attributes too after you hit, the breaking point of patience. And so it's like, can I be patient just a little longer? Just push it till that point. Don't
break it.
Don't break
Don't
it.
go to the point of breaking.
No.
If your kid is being annoying, or your spouse, right, is doing something that you don't appreciate, get to the point and
take
then,
it as long as you can.
And then quietly and politely be like, hey,
so
I'm sorry, but you gotta stop. Like I said, politely and kindly, but like there comes a point where don't go to the breaking point, because you'll regret it.
Yes.
Like, there's actually something I wanted to address real quick. It's the understanding of reacting to life and responding to life. And the way that this is very simply put is, if a doctor comes in and gives you a new medication, per se. So you have this new medication, and the doctor's like, come back and see me in 2 days. And he says, this is really good. Your body is responding to the medication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's go back to when he gave you the medication. And then he says, oh no, your body is reacting to the medication. It's the understanding that react is negative and respond is positive, right? If you have something that has pushed you to the point of almost breaking with patience, you need to respond to the situation and not react to the situation. I think we can all pinpoint times where people have reacted or responded.
Yes,
I can name thousands with myself, right? When I have lost it because I reacted to a situation instead of responded. And I would like to add this one last part. Reacting is thoughtless. Responding is very thoughtful.
That's beautiful.
And so just make sure with whatever it is that is pushing your envelope a little bit that you take the time to think and respond instead of don't think and react.
Right. I think there's one more thing I want to bring up in this podcast too, and it's another aspect of patience that I think I've learned through the experience of waiting for this business and also waiting for our twin girls to be born. And so today, actually, we were at the doctor because we're there
All the
every
time.
week. And something that was so interesting is that it just is, like, interesting to me, too, that just as, like, I don't know. I'm trying to explain. So, like, it's amazing to me that, like, pregnancy is kind of an act of patience, too. And the fact where it's like, can I be pregnant today? Can I do this one more day
I would
for
agree
my
with
babies?
That.
And that's kind of how
I have no idea what you're going through, but I can only imagine.
And that's kind of how I have to compartmentalize it, too, where it's like, oh, my goodness, I love my kids already so much that, of course,
I will go through this.
I will do this one more day.
Yeah.
And I'm even getting emotional.
I think that's very profound.
You know, it's just so beautiful, too, where it's like, of course I can be patient. Of course I can do this one more day for them, for these people who I love, for my family. Anyways, and so that just kind of hit me today at the office.
No, that's beautiful. I would also add that just a little last thought is the understanding that, like Abe Lincoln says, that a man is about as happy as he thinks he is, or something like that.
Makes himself out to be.
Yeah, or makes himself out to be. And so it's this understanding that you can be happy in the present moment, just like Meg is choosing to be with pregnancy. And to all women out there, I know pregnancy is hard, right? Like, I don't have to experience pregnancy to know it's hard.
You can't disagree that it's not a sacrifice.
No, and
like,
it's like, I mean, it's like looking at an Olympic athlete and just being like, oh yeah, like, that's not that hard.
Right.
No, it's the most difficult thing in the world, right? And so, to all women out there, I'm sure it's very difficult, but my wife is a great example of this, and she would never say it, but she chooses each day to be happy, even though sometimes those cute little babies are like kicking her sternum or smashing her bladder or giving her cramps because they're taking all of her potassium and salt, right? Like, and she chooses to be happy, and that's just what we kind of want to leave with you guys today is like, while you're being patient, getting that new car, that new business, that baby, whatever it is, be happy in the present moment now. Be happy with where you are, with what you have. And when you get more, be happy with that, you know, but you can be just as happy as you make yourself out to be, as Abe Lincoln would say.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Please share it with friends, comment, do all the good things. We appreciate you.
Yep, we love you guys. Thank you.
Okay, see ya. You've been listening to The Endless Party. Please feel free to join us over at our website, theendlessparty.com, for more of our content. Also, we would love to hear from you. Leave some comments and let us know what you're interested in us talking about.
Seriously, like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, whatever it is the platform says to do, so that we can keep partying together.